The massive chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with the voices of 100 different species. Representatives from across known space gathered in tiered seating that circled a central platform. Today's agenda: classification of a newly discovered spacefaring race. Order, please, called High Counselor Drex, his deep voice cutting through the chatter. The Valerian's scaled skin gleamed under the chamber lights as he gestured toward the holographic display. We have made contact with a species calling themselves humans from the planet Earth. The display shifted to show 3 small vessels, simple in design compared to the ornate warships of the Council races. This represents their entire diplomatic fleet, asked Representative Morn of the Thelians, not bothering to hide his amusement. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the image. According to our intelligence, yes, replied Drex. Our scouts report their home system contains approximately 20 similar vessels, hardly a force of any consequence. Laughter rippled through the chamber. The Dromex representative, General Pax, slammed his metal-clad fist on the table. I've seen pleasure yachts with more firepower. Why are we even bothering with this classification hearing? Drex raised a hand for quiet. Protocol demands we classify all spacefaring races. Intelligence Officer Trell will present the assessment. A thin, silver-skinned being stepped forward, activating a new series of images showing Earth and its solar system. The human homeworld is resource-poor compared to Council standards, Trell explained. They appear to have depleted many of their natural elements through inefficient industrial development. Their system contains minimal heavy metals needed for advanced ship construction. Primitives, muttered someone from the upper tiers. Their location is also notable, continued Trell, zooming out to show Earth's position in the galaxy. They exist in what we would consider a sparse sector, isolated from major trade routes and stellar clusters. This isolation likely explains their limited development. General Pax leaned forward. Weapons assessment. Basic energy weapons, rudimentary shielding. Nothing our smallest patrol craft couldn't handle, Trell replied. Their propulsion systems are particularly inefficient. The chamber filled with dismissive murmurs again. I propose Category 3 classification, announced Representative Morn. Non-threatening, limited potential, minimal oversight required. Seconded, rumbled General Pax. Is there any objection to Category 3 classification for the humans? Drex asked, looking around the chamber. No one spoke. Very well. Earth is hereby classified as a Category 3 civilization. The usual trade restrictions and technology embargoes will apply. Drex made a gesture and the vote was recorded in the Council archives. Now bring in their representative for notification. The chamber doors slid open, and a single human walked in. Captain James Walker moved with surprising confidence for someone facing the assembled power of the galaxy. His dark uniform was simple but perfectly pressed, his posture straight as he approached the central platform. Captain Walker of Earth, Drex said formally. The Council has completed its assessment of your civilization and classified Earth as Category 3. This classification limits your trading rights and restricts access to advanced technology. Walker showed no surprise or disappointment. He simply nodded once. We accept the Council's decision. General Pax seemed annoyed by the human's calm acceptance. Do you understand what this means? Your people will be treated as minor players. Your ships will be subject to inspection at any Council checkpoint. We understand perfectly, Walker replied, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. Earth thanks the Council for its thorough assessment. Something in the human's tone made Drex pause. For a moment, the High Counselor felt a flicker of unease, as though Walker knew something they didn't. If that's all, Walker continued, my ship will return to Earth with news of our classification. As the human departed, Drex watched him go. For a species just handed a humiliating classification, Captain Walker seemed strangely unbothered. Perhaps that tiny fleet had more surprises than anyone suspected. 3 standard months after Earth's classification, an unexpected message arrived at the human diplomatic outpost. An invitation to the Grand Centennial. Captain Walker read the gleaming crystal data card with raised eyebrows. That's unusual for a Category 3 civilization. Diplomatic Officer Ellis nodded, her expression thoughtful. Apparently, it's a formality. All known spacefaring races are invited, regardless of classification. The event happens once every 100 years. Who will we send? Walker asked. Admiral Reed has volunteered. He says he wants to get a closer look at the Council's military capabilities. Walker smiled. Perfect. The Grand Centennial was held in the Proxima system, a neutral space known for its spectacular nebula views. Massive ships from every major Council race filled the designated arrival zones, their hulls gleaming with decorative lights and ceremonial markings. When the human delegation arrived, their 3 small vessels looked like toys among giants. "Look at that," sneered General Pax to his aide, as they watched from the observation deck of the Dromex flagship. The humans brought their entire fleet. His aide checked the sensor readings. "Just 3 ships, sir. The Asterisk Intrepid Asterisk, Asterisk Daring Asterisk, and Asterisk Resolute Asterisk. Basic designs, minimal weapons. I'm surprised they didn't arrive in wooden sailing ships." Pax laughed. His joke transmitted across several diplomatic channels. Aboard the Asterisk Intrepid Asterisk, Admiral Thomas Reed ignored the chatter. The veteran officer had weathered worse insults during his long career. His weathered face remained impassive as he guided his small fleet into their designated docking area. "They're broadcasting jokes about our ships again," his communications officer reported. "Let them laugh," Reed replied calmly. "We're here to observe, not impress." The opening ceremonies were as grand as promised. Thousands of representatives gathered in the massive council hall, with holographic displays allowing even more to participate remotely. High Counselor Drex presided over the event with practiced dignity. The humans, as a Category 3 civilization, were seated far from the central platform. Admiral Reed and his small delegation of 5 officers watched the proceedings quietly. "And now," announced Drex after several hours of ceremonial displays, "we come to the traditional military exercises. For the next 3 days, Council forces will demonstrate combat readiness and tactical innovations." This caught Reed's attention. He leaned forward slightly. "The schedule includes simulated space combat, planetary defense scenarios, and boarding actions," Drex continued. "All Council races are invited to observe. Category 1 and 2 civilizations may participate with prior approval." As the crowd began to disperse for refreshments, Reed approached a Council protocol officer. "I have a request," he said politely. "Would it be possible for Earth to participate in one of the exercises?" The official, a tall Thelian, looked down at Reed with all 4 eyes blinking in surprise. "Category 3 civilizations typically only observe." "I understand," Reed persisted, "but we've traveled quite far. My crew would value the learning experience." The Thelian seemed amused. "I'll need to consult with the exercise committee. What scenario would you propose?" "The defensive simulation against multiple attackers would be ideal." Word of the unusual request spread quickly. By evening, it had reached General Pax, who found it hilarious. "Let them participate," he told the committee. "It will be entertaining to watch these primitives attempt Council-level tactics." When approval came through, Reed showed no excitement. He simply thanked the committee and returned to his ship. Later that night, as Reed sat in his quarters reviewing Council ship specifications, his second-in-command entered. "They've approved our request, sir," Commander Banks reported. "But the diplomatic channels are full of jokes about our tiny fleet preparing to embarrass ourselves." Reed looked up from his display. His eyes held a glint that didn't match his calm demeanor. "Let them mock us, Commander. They've never seen humans fight. Should we prepare the special modifications?" Reed nodded. "Just the basics for now. No need to show everything at once." As the commander left, Reed turned back to the window, gazing at the massive Council warships surrounding his 3 small vessels. tomorrow would change everything. The simulation arena was a vast section of space cordoned off with sensor buoys. Thousands of spectators watched from observation vessels positioned at safe distances, while millions more viewed the exercises through holographic feeds. Admiral Reed's 3 ships hovered at one end of the designated zone, looking small and exposed against the backdrop of stars. The Intrepid Daring and Resolute formed a simple triangle formation. Beginning simulation in 30 seconds, announced the Council controller. Human vessels will face a standard Category 3 threat level, 12 automated attack drones. In the VIP observation lounge, General Pax snorted. 12. That's generous. I would have started with 20. High Counselor Drex watched with mild interest. Let's see what these humans can do before we judge. The attack drones, sleek, unmanned vessels equipped with training weapons, materialized at the far end of the simulation zone. They immediately formed into hunting packs and accelerated toward the human ships. Reed's calm voice carried across the command channel. Defensive pattern Alpha. Engage when ready. What happened next stunned the audience into silence. The 3 human ships broke formation with acceleration that seemed impossible for vessels their size. The Daring shot upward at a 90-degree angle, while the Resolute and Intrepid split in opposite directions, all moving with precision that suggested automated control rather than human pilots. Their maneuverability is unexpected, murmured a Thelian analyst. The drones adjusted, firing training pulses that would register as hits on the simulation systems, but the human ships moved erratically, changing direction with no apparent thrust vectors visible. How are they doing that? Demanded General Pax, leaning forward. One drone finally scored a direct hit on the Resolute. A cheer went up from some spectators, until they saw what happened next. Instead of registering damage, the human ship's hull seemed to absorb the energy pulse. A moment later, the Resolute emitted a burst of similar energy back at the drone, disabling it instantly. They reflected the attack, gasped a Council weapons expert. That's not standard technology. Within minutes, all 12 drones had been neutralized. The human ships had taken multiple hits, but each time they had absorbed and redirected the energy. Their maneuverability had made them nearly impossible to track consistently. An uncomfortable silence fell over the observation lounge. Controller, called Drex, increased difficulty. 20 drones, Category 2 threat level. The second wave of drones was more advanced, with better targeting systems and stronger weapons. They emerged from multiple vectors, designed to overwhelm the human ships. Admiral Reed's voice remained steady. Defensive pattern Beta. This time, the human ships moved in perfect coordination, as if connected by invisible threads. They rotated positions, creating overlapping fields of protection. When one ship absorbed an attack, another would fire the redirected energy at the drones. Within 12 minutes, all 20 drones had been neutralized. The human ships had not suffered a single point of simulated damage. The observation lounge erupted in urgent conversations. Council military experts huddled together, reviewing data from the simulation. Impossible, muttered General Pax. Their ships shouldn't be capable of this. High Counselor Drex turned to his intelligence officer. Explain. I cannot, Counselor, admitted the officer. Their technology appears far more advanced than our initial assessment. Drex activated the communication channel. Admiral Reed, would you care to explain what we just witnessed? Reed's image appeared on the view screen, his expression calm, but with a hint of satisfaction. Nothing special, Counselor. Standard defensive capabilities for our scout vessels. Scout vessels, echoed Drex. These are not your military ships. These? No, sir. Reed's lips quirked in a small smile. These are exploration and diplomatic craft. Our actual military vessels remain in Earth's defense perimeter. Silence fell again, deeper than before. The maneuverability we demonstrated comes from our inertial control systems, Reed continued casually. The energy absorption is a basic feature of our adaptive shielding. Nothing remarkable by our standards. As the transmission ended, worried glances were exchanged throughout the Council observation lounge. If these were merely scout ships, what might Earth's actual military vessels be capable of? The tiny fleet suddenly didn't seem so laughable anymore. The Council chamber had never seemed so tense. Representatives from 24 species argued loudly, while aides rushed between groups with data tablets and urgent whispers. At the center of the storm stood Admiral Reed and Ambassador Lisa Moore, the human diplomatic representative who had arrived following the demonstration. This is outrageous. General Pax slammed his fist down, silencing the chamber. The humans deliberately misrepresented their technological capabilities. Ambassador Moore, a tall woman with silver-streaked dark hair, responded with practiced calm. With respect, General, we did no such thing. We simply accepted the classification given to us without protest. You showed us inferior vessels during the assessment, accused Representative Moore. We showed you our standard diplomatic ships, Moore corrected. You made assumptions about our overall capabilities. High Counselor Drex raised his hands for quiet. Regardless of how we arrived at this point, we must now reassess Earth's classification. The technology displayed in yesterday's exercise clearly exceeds Category 3 parameters. From the back of the chamber, a Dromex military commander named Kerr stepped forward. His ceremonial armor clicked with each step, battle decorations hanging from his shoulders. Before any reclassification, he said loudly, I propose a true test. The simulations were controlled environments. I challenged the humans to a real combat exercise, my battleship against their vessels. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such direct challenges were rare but allowed under Council protocol. Admiral Reed exchanged a glance with Ambassador Moore before responding. The Dromex ships are impressive vessels, Commander Kerr. Are you certain you wish to proceed with this challenge? Kerr's face darkened at what he perceived as condescension. My Asterisk destroyer of worlds Asterisk has never been defeated in training exercises. Are you declining the challenge? Not at all, Reed replied. But I'd like to request a small delay, perhaps 1 month, to bring appropriate vessels for the demonstration. Running back to Earth for reinforcements. Kerr mocked. I thought your scout ships were so capable. They are designed for specific functions, Reed explained patiently. If we're to engage in a full military exercise, I'd prefer to use ships designed for combat. General Pax stepped closer to Drex, speaking in a low voice. This delay benefits us. We can analyze their technology and prepare countermeasures. Drex nodded. The Council grants the delay. In 1 month, we will reconvene at the Arcturus testing grounds for this demonstration. As the chamber began to empty, Moore approached Reed. Was that wise? Kerr is known for his ruthlessness. Reed watched the departing council members. They need to understand what they're dealing with. A controlled demonstration is better than a misunderstanding that leads to actual conflict. Across the chamber, Kerr was already huddled with his tactical team, reviewing footage of the human ship's performance. Find their weaknesses, he ordered. Every system has limitations. His chief engineer looked troubled. Sir, their inertial control technology alone is decades beyond our understanding, and the energy absorption capabilities. I don't want excuses, Kerr snapped. I want vulnerabilities. The following weeks brought increasing political tension. Several council races began strengthening border patrols near human space. Intelligence vessels monitored the approach to Earth's solar system, though none dared enter. At the diplomatic compound, Ambassador Moore worked tirelessly to ease concerns. She met with representatives from 16 different species, explaining Earth's history and peaceful intentions. We developed these technologies out of necessity, she told a group of Valerian ministers. Our isolation meant we had to become self-sufficient in our defense. Meanwhile, Admiral Reed had departed on the Intrepid Asterisk, ostensibly to retrieve appropriate vessels for the upcoming demonstration. Council intelligence tracked his ship until it reached the edge of human space, where it seemingly vanished from sensors. They have stealth technology as well, General Pax demanded when informed of this development. His intelligence officer nodded grimly. It appears so. We've also intercepted communications suggesting they're bringing something called a Harbinger-class vessel. Meaning? Unknown, sir. We have no records of such a designation. As the date of the demonstration approached, anxiety grew throughout Council space. Markets fluctuated as speculation ran wild about Earth's true capabilities. Military vessels were quietly repositioned toward human territory. The tiny fleet that had once seemed so insignificant now cast a long shadow across the galaxy. The Arcturus testing grounds buzzed with activity as the day of the demonstration arrived. Commander Carr's flagship, the destroyer of worlds dominated the staging area, a massive vessel stretching nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull bristling with weapon ports and sensor arrays. Surrounding it were 5 support vessels, each formidable in its own right. Quite the show of force, Ambassador Moore remarked to High Counselor Drex as they observed from the Council diplomatic vessel. Commander Carr is thorough, Drex replied carefully. Though I notice Admiral Reed has not yet arrived with your combat vessels. Moore checked her timepiece. He'll be here. We humans value punctuality. On the bridge of the destroyer of worlds Carr paced impatiently. Still no sign of them. Nothing on long-range sensors, Commander, his tactical officer reported. Wait, detecting a spatial distortion at Mark 227. A ripple appeared in the emptiness of space, and the 3 familiar human vessels emerge. The Intrepid Daring and Resolute They were unchanged from before, still small and unimpressive compared to the Dromex Armada. This is their combat fleet. Carr laughed in disbelief. The same 3 scout ships. Throughout the observation vessels, representatives from dozens of species leaned forward, equally confused. Had the humans misunderstood the nature of the challenge? Admiral Reed's voice came through on the open channel. Commander Carr, we appreciate your patience. We are ready to proceed with the demonstration. Carr's face darkened with anger. This is an insult. You bring these same tiny vessels to face my battle group. I assure you, Reed replied calmly, we've brought appropriate ships for this exercise. I see only 3 scout vessels. Ah. Reed's voice held a hint of amusement. Perhaps a clarification is needed. Computer, initiate transformation sequence. What happened next left the entire assembled council speechless. The 3 human ships began to change. External panels shifted and rotated, revealing previously hidden structures beneath. The vessels expanded outward in multiple directions simultaneously, components unfolding like elaborate puzzles. Internal sections rotated and locked into new configurations. Where 3 small ships had been, 3 massive vessels now took form. The transformation took less than 2 minutes, but when complete, the human fleet was unrecognizable. The Intrepid had become a sleek command carrier, nearly as large as Carr's flagship. The Daring had transformed into what appeared to be a specialized weapons platform, with multiple extending arms housing various targeting systems. The Resolute had reconfigured into a broader vessel with massive engine systems pulsing with energy. By the ancient stars, whispered Drex. How is this possible? Throughout the Council observation vessels, technical analysts scrambled to make sense of what they were seeing. Sensors struggled to penetrate the suddenly much more sophisticated hulls of the human ships. Dimensional compression technology, one Thelian scientist stammered. They somehow fold space within their vessels to contain larger structures than should be physically possible. On the destroyer of worlds Commander Carr stared at his view screen in shock. Scan them. What are we facing? His chief engineer was pale. Commander, their power readings they're off our scales. The weapons systems we're detecting don't match anything in our database, and their shielding appears to be a multi-layered design that adapts to different attack vectors. Impossible. Admiral Reed's voice came through again, perfectly composed. I should mention, Commander, that these still aren't our primary military vessels. These are what we classify as rapid response cruisers, multipurpose ships designed for flexibility in diplomatic and defensive situations. The silence that followed was absolute. In the Council observation vessel, Ambassador Moore turned to Drex. I believe a reclassification might be in order, Counselor. Drex could only nod, his eyes fixed on the transformed human fleet. The technical data flooding in from their sensors told a clear story. Human technology was not decades but centuries beyond what the Council had believed. The tiny fleet had never been tiny at all, merely folded up, waiting for the right moment to reveal its true form. Commander Kerr's face had turned an alarming shade of purple as he stared at the transformed human vessels. His pride wounded and his authority challenged, he made a decision that would change galactic politics forever. Battle stations, he barked to his crew. Arm all weapons systems. His second-in-command hesitated. Sir, this is meant to be a demonstration, not actual combat. They've deceived the Council for months. Kerr hissed. Who knows what their true intentions are? We must show strength now. Across the communication channels, urgent voices called for calm, but Kerr had already closed the channel. The massive weapon ports on the Asterisk destroyer of worlds Asterisk began to glow with energy. On the bridge of the transformed Asterisk Intrepid Asterisk, Admiral Reed watched with calm eyes. Sir, his tactical officer reported, the Dromex vessel is powering weapons. They appear to be preparing to fire. Reed nodded. As expected. Activate defensive grid Alpha. No return fire. Should we warn the Council observers to withdraw to a safe distance? Reed's lips curved in a small smile. That won't be necessary. In the Council observation vessel, panic was spreading. Representatives demanded immediate departure from the potential combat zone. Wait, Ambassador Moore said firmly. Watch. The Asterisk destroyer of worlds Asterisk fired its main cannons. Massive energy beams shot toward the human vessels, enough firepower to obliterate a small moon. Everyone watching held their breath. The beams never reached their targets. 10 kilometers from the human ships, the energy weapons simply disappeared. There was no explosion, no shield flare, nothing to indicate what had happened to the enormous amount of destructive energy. What just happened? High Counselor Drex demanded. A Valerian scientist checked his instruments repeatedly. The energy signatures, they're gone, as if they never existed. Kerr was equally baffled. He ordered a second volley, this time including torpedo weapons along with energy beams. Again, everything vanished before reaching the human vessels. Admiral Reed's voice came through all channels, still measured and calm. Commander Kerr, I suggest you stand down. This demonstration has already gone beyond its intended parameters. What have you done? Kerr shouted back. Where are my weapons impacts? We've deployed our dimensional phasing defense grid, Reed explained, as if discussing something as simple as the weather. It redirects incoming attacks into a parallel dimensional pocket. The energy dissipates harmlessly there. The silence that followed was broken by a Thelian scientist, dropping a data pad in shock. Kerr, however, was beyond reason. All power to forward batteries. Launch all attack drones. I wouldn't recommend that, Reed replied. Computer, reveal defense constellation. Suddenly, sensors throughout the testing grounds detected new objects, hundreds of them, appearing from nowhere. Small, unmanned platforms materialized in a sphere around the entire test area, having been cloaked or somehow hidden until now. These automated defense platforms have been in position since before your arrival, Reed explained. A standard precaution. They could have neutralized your vessels at any time had we perceived a genuine threat. On the Council observation vessel, military analysts were ashen-faced as they reported to Drex. Those platforms, their technology is beyond anything we've encountered. They appear to have directed energy weapons, but also something our sensors identify as gravity manipulation technology. Ambassador Moore turned to Drex. We came in peace and with good faith. We still do. But Admiral Reed was instructed to ensure the safety of our delegation, given the unpredictable nature of this demonstration. Commander Kerr's ship had gone silent. Sensors showed their weapons powering down. A wise decision, Reed noted. Now shall we return to the diplomatic discussion this demonstration was meant to inform. As the human ships began reverting to their smaller configurations, the massive structures folding impossibly back into their compact forms, the defense platforms gradually faded from visibility again, though everyone now knew they remained present. The council representatives gathered in stunned silence. The humans had not fired a single shot, yet had completely neutralized the most powerful Dromex warship without effort. More importantly, they had revealed they possessed technological capabilities that had been completely hidden from council assessment. The tiny fleet wasn't just powerful, it was revolutionary. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began in chaos. Representatives shouted over one another, while security personnel escorted a fuming Commander Kerr from the chamber. His military authority had been suspended pending review of his unauthorized aggression. High Counselor Drex struck his ceremonial staff against the floor 3 times, the sound resonating through the chamber. Order. We will have order. The room gradually quieted, all eyes turning to where Admiral Reed and Ambassador Moore stood calmly at the center of the chamber. Humans. Drex began, his voice carefully controlled. It appears we have significantly underestimated your civilization. A natural mistake, Moore replied diplomatically. We understand that appearances can be deceiving. General Pax stepped forward, his earlier mockery replaced by wary respect. Why the deception? Why hide your true capabilities? Reed answered, It wasn't deception, General. We simply presented ourselves as we are and allowed you to make your own assessment. But surely you knew we were underestimating you, pressed Representative Moore. Of course, Moore smiled slightly. And that provided us valuable information about how the Council operates. Your quick dismissal of seemingly weaker species told us much about your values. Uncomfortable glances were exchanged throughout the chamber. The humans had been testing the Council, as much as the Council had been evaluating them. Drex cleared his throat. We must discuss immediate reclassification. The technology you've displayed, dimensional compression, phasing defense grids, adaptive energy systems. These all qualify Earth for Category 1 status at minimum. We have no objection. Moore nodded. But first, Drex continued, we require answers. How did a supposedly isolated species develop technology centuries beyond established council races? Admiral Reed stepped forward. Necessity, Counselor. Earth truly is resource-poor compared to many of your worlds. We couldn't build massive fleets like the Dromex or Valerians. We lacked the raw materials. So we developed technologies that maximized efficiency. Our isolation was also a factor, added Moore. With no allies to rely upon, we had to ensure our limited fleet could defend against any threat. Multipurpose vessels with transformation capabilities were our solution. And the dimensional technology, asked a Thelian scientist, unable to contain her curiosity. Reed smiled. An accident, initially. A failed experiment with faster-than-light travel opened doors to research paths your scientists may have overlooked. General Pax's eyes narrowed. How many ships does Earth truly possess? Enough, Reed replied simply. The answer sent a chill through the chamber. Moore stepped forward. We didn't come to intimidate, but to connect. Earth wishes to join the galactic community as partners, not conquerors. We bring technological innovations that could benefit all species. Such as, Drex asked. Medical applications of our dimensional technology could revolutionize surgery. Our energy efficiency systems could help resource-depleted worlds. There are countless possibilities for peaceful cooperation. The council members whispered among themselves. After a brief consultation, Drex spoke again. Earth is hereby reclassified as a Category 1 civilization, with all associated rights and privileges. We welcome humans as full members of the Galactic Council. The formal announcement was met with applause, though many representatives clapped with expressions of uncertainty rather than genuine welcome. As the session concluded, Drex approached the humans privately. "There's one question I must ask. How long were you observing us before making contact?" Moore and Reed exchanged glances. 47 years, Reed admitted. "We discovered your communication networks long before we revealed ourselves." "I suspected as much," Drex sighed. "And had we proven hostile?" "We had contingencies," Reed said simply. As the humans departed to prepare for the formal Category 1 induction ceremony, Drex watched them with newfound respect and a touch of unease. Back on the Intrepid Asterisk, Reed entered a secure communication room. The door sealed behind him as he activated a quantum-encrypted channel. "High Command, this is Reed. Phase 1 complete. The Council has accepted our official status." A voice responded from Earth. "Excellent. And they suspect nothing of the outer colonies?" "Nothing," Reed confirmed. "They believe Earth is our only significant world. The 16 terraformed planets remain unknown to them. And the Deep Space Fleet, still hidden in the Fold space docks. As far as the Council knows, we have perhaps a few dozen ships total." "Well done, Admiral. Maintain the current approach. Let them believe they've discovered all our secrets for now." Reed smiled as the connection closed. The tiny fleet had opened the door. What came next would reshape the galaxy.